Zach, number 32, Zach Baseman, came in from behind to make that play. He was not sealed on the line of scrimmage by the backside offensive lineman.
Well, this has been a pretty good football game so far for the Division V state championship. Edgar jumped out to a 16-0 advantage, scored a couple of touchdowns, got the two-point conversions. Those aren't easy, are they, Paul?
No, they are not. And another thing that I think is important for people to remember, when you have two good teams playing each other like this, you probably during the course of the game are going to get between 5 to 6 really good opportunities to score. And the key is when they present themselves, you have to take advantage of. Edgar has done that twice. Iola had an interception where they got field position. They did not come out of there with a score. This last one they took advantage of, and they did come in on a score. So the key is when the opportunity presents itself, take advantage, because you're not going to get many in a game like this.
Does that make it tough when you're only down 16-0 to say, do we go for 2 or go for the extra point and just get our 7?
I think in that case you go for 2, because you've got to score 2 more times to win the ball game. So yes, you go for 2.
Flag down with the ball kicked out of bounds.
And I'm sure the coach from Iola is not real happy about that right now, because that affords them good field position without, very frankly, having to earn it.
And Edgar gets it at their own 35-yard line. Good-looking drive by Iola Scandinavia to get on the board. 3 plays, 64 yards. The big one, though, is what started thing out, the pass play. And Edgar will call a timeout here. Perhaps Sins saw something he didn't like, wanted to make sure he got it straight, because we only talked a moment ago about the Thunderbirds having plenty of time on the clock to get in and score before the half, but they scored so quickly. They turn it right back over with 1:55 to go in Edgar's hands, so they want to make sure they can get something out of this with good field position.
Well, I think the people from Iola Scandinavia were listening to you when you were making your call there, because they responded immediately. Again,
we plugged them in with a headset down there. They can hear everything.
They'll be looking for the opportunity to score because they have the ability to do it. They've got the home run threat with Berg, and the quarterback has got the ability to throw the ball. But just as importantly, he's got the ability to run it. So Iola is going to be very important to, if Edgar chooses to go on offense, it'll be very important for Iola to contain the quarterback. Do not let him break contain.
Well, so far rushing yards are pretty even between these two clubs. Iola Scandinavia was 79, Edgar was 74. The passing, Iola Scandinavia able to catch up, 163 yards passing in this one. But Edgar's real big play was the punt return by Berg for a touchdown that covered 74 yards and opened the scoring in this Division V state championship. Street the carry for about 3 or 4.
And the other thing that was a key was Iola not being able to take advantage of the field position they had the first quarter, because they had good field position most of the first quarter.
They were knocking on the door a couple of times.
Yes, they were. And that could be a real key as the game wears on.
2nd down and 7 from the 38. Sins back to pass. Under a heavy rush, he sacked, ball loose. And recovered by Edgar in a big play there. Boy, I tell you what, if Iola Scandinavia comes up with that, they're sitting pretty with 1:08 to go.
Thus, we just got through talking about keeping the quarterback in the pocket, because he has the ability to run. Number 73 deserves a lot of credit for doing exactly that, Nathan Weiland. He keeps him in. Number 19 comes in and finishes it up. That was a good defensive play.
And a heads-up play by Street to fall on that ball and recover. It's going to be 3rd and long, 3rd and 17 at the 28. 1:02 to go in the first half. 16-6 Edgar out in front. Coming up at halftime, we'll hear from some of our statewide sponsors. Take a look at some first half highlights as well.
I want to correct myself. I gave credit to an Edgar defender for making the play. That I should have given the credit to Richard Janik from Iola. He did an outstanding job. Number 73 of containing. As I indicated, number 19 then came in. Mike Beinley came in to make the tackle. That could have been a big play for Iola in terms of getting the ball in great field position.
Absolutely,
again.
Absolutely. 3rd and 17. Inside handoff, Berg. And he's brought down after about a 5-yard gain. And it's going to bring up 4th down in a punting situation. And Iola Scandinavia wisely calls their last time out to stop the clock with 54 seconds to go. They could come out of this in pretty decent shape. And we're happy to bring these WIAA football finals to you today. This is a co-production of Midwest Sports Channel, Wisconsin Public Television, and the Wisconsin Cable Communications Association. Great teamwork to bring you your favorite football teams. Glad to be a part of it. Glad to have you aboard here today. It's a beautiful day in Madison. Just does not quite seem like state football championship weather. We usually have at least snow plowed off of this turf along the sidelines for these. Not too many years I could remember where there's not.
Love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, we're going to be approaching the 60-degree mark today. Since his punt is off. Harris has it, going nowhere though, and that's all right. They're in pretty decent field position about the 35-yard line. A 32-yard kick, still 43 seconds to go.
There's where special teams come in for play again. They're kicking the ball away from number 9, John Harris. And as you saw, once he got the ball, there were 5 green jerseys surrounding him. So special teams are playing a vital part for Edgar in terms of controlling the game.
So the Thunderbirds back on offense. Let's see what they can do.
Well, they come back out in the shotgun and work one other time. Let's see what happens in this one.
R.J. Rosenthal back to pass. Here comes the rush. Pass out there complete. Near 1st down territory to Mike Binley.
Good open field tackle by number 22, Strasser, because if he doesn't make the play, he's got at least another 15, 20 yards before he goes out of bounds or is tackled.
Clock still ticks though, because only a gain of 9. Under 20. Rosenthal back to pass. Another heavy rush. This one incomplete to Toomey. Only would have really gotten the ball back to the line of scrimmage with 12 seconds to go, but the clock stops so they can set something up here.
I know Iola would like to get the ball down and score, but again, you got to be careful you don't end up making a play that could be disastrous for you. So it'll be interesting to see if they play a safe call or if they decide to put the ball up the field.
Third down and 1, 12 ticks left here in the 2nd quarter. Rosenthal back to pass, heavy rush. Downfield and intercepted. This time Lincoln Berg has it, he makes the pitch. And Edgar takes it down and to the 35, but time winds down here, and that brings us to halftime. So Edgar's defense comes through one more time.
It was really an alert play by the linebacker, Berg, laterally the ball off to number 12.
Zach Paul takes it down to the 35, but we're at halftime now. Edgar leads Iola Scandinavia in the Division 5 finals 16-6. We're coming back to Camp Randall in a moment.
Health and healthcare issues affect everyone. In our ongoing look at these important topics, this week we focus on youth. Whether it's early childhood brain development, teen violence, or insurance coverage for everyone, the questions are personal and hit home. Don't miss a 1-hour weekend We the People special, Growing Up, Growing Older, Friday night at 7 on Wisconsin Public Television.
For 8,000 years, we've been dealing with horses. On the theme, you do what I tell you to, or I'll hurt you. I can cause a horse, most horses, to accept their first saddle, bridle, and rider in about 30 minutes, while traditionally, with the use of pain and restraint, it's about a 4 to 6 week job.
Watch Shy Boy with Monty Roberts, Saturday at 1 p.m. on Wisconsin Public Television.
Next time on Nova. 10,000 years ago, a world frozen in ice began to thaw, marking the beginning of the end for the great woolly mammoth. Did humans speed the end for these huge beasts? Frozen bodies and houses made of tusks are just some of the amazing new finds. Now scientists are piecing together a picture of the life our ancestors shared with the mammoths of the Ice Age. Next time on Nova.
Tuesday night at 8, only on Wisconsin Public Television. This is Wisconsin Public Television, your place to grow through learning.
Our thanks to all our sponsors here. We are at halftime of the Division 5 state championship in the WIAA as Edgar leads Iola Scandinavia 16-6, and after a scoreless first quarter, we saw some fireworks, starting out with special teams by Edgar, a long punt return for a touchdown. They build an 16-0 advantage, and then Iola Scandinavia able to counter, and kind of been an interesting game as we move in and take a look at the stats, and Paul, try to see how things are described here. We start with the rushing yards.
Well, both teams have not been able to run the ball like they're used to running the ball. That's pretty obvious. The Thunderbirds have been able to throw the ball a little bit better, 93-0, in fact, quite a bit better. The key, though, as you alluded to earlier, was the special team, because I think if you look at yardage, that's hidden yardage, you're going to find that they're very close in statistics.
Special teams, of course, being the 74-yard punt return by Berg. And that's what we're going to take a look at right now. This really sparked the scoring, breaking the scoreless tie early in the second.
When you have the kind of speed that Edgar has in the backfield, receiving punts with number 10 Sens and number 20 Berg, what it does is spread your punt coverage team out, and you find bigger lanes. And they also set a beautiful wall for number 20 to return it.
And for Iola Scandinavia, they had about 2 minutes 30 seconds to go in the half. Rosenthal hits Harris on a bomb for 59.
They showed they showed the shotgun formation, and I would guess during the course of the year that has not been used too many times. But the thing I impressed with was the quarterback feeling very comfortable doing what he just did.
He comes back and makes the play Sins does to save the touchdown, but very impressive so far throwing. It looks like Iola Scandinavia may be going that route, but this is what completed. Tume just fumbles as he's going into the end zone here, but makes a heads-up play and recovers it himself.
I think this is the play, Craig, before the actual fumble. He almost got himself into the end zone on this. In fact, some of them thought he was in the end zone. You could see the kids from Iola raising their hands and so on, so it was very close at that time if he scored on that play.
And Tume's been a load. He's really helped out carrying the load, running the football for them so far in this game.
He's been extremely impressive carrying the ball. We talked about the fact he always gets his hat going up the field. The other thing, he plays both sides of the ball. He's been playing linebacker very effectively too. He's really a good football player.
And we're just about set to start the second half here at Camp Randall. Edgar out in front, 16-6 in this one. Shadows of Camp Randall Stadium are covering about half the field right now.
What's going to be interesting, I would suspect that during the course of the year, neither Edgar nor Iola Scandinavia has had too many of their starters playing much of the ball game in the second half, particularly the fourth quarter. So it's going to be interesting to find out if fatigue plays any kind of a factor in the ball game. And you've got the classic matchup. You've got the smaller, quicker team in Edgar against the large physical team in Iola Scandinavia. So that's going to be interesting as the game wears along.
Iola Scandinavia will kick off to open up the second half.
The last time that they kicked off, they had the misfortune of having the ball kicked out of bounds. I think they're trying to squib it to keep the ball away from Berg and Simpson. I understand why. The negative about kicking out of bounds is they get automatic good field position. They put the ball in play on the 35-yard line. So it'll be interesting to see how they choose to kick the ball this particular time.
Berg was 74 yards rushing, also the 74-yard punt return. So he's got a touchdown rushing and a touchdown on the return. They squib this one, and he's going to take it up near the 30, and he's tackled Nice job there, brought down at the 35-yard line. Iowa Scandinavia, Ryan Schweiner with the tackle. So first down and 10 at the 36.
They did exactly what they wanted to do. They didn't gain much yardage, but they were able to control Berg from getting the home run on him.
Wildcats with a 10-point lead to open up the second half. Sends the handoff Berg. Gets about 5 up to the 40. Call it 4, second down and 6.
There's a good push off the offensive right side of the line. Just a quick power play to number 20. And the thing about number 20 is that you don't need a great deal of blocking for him to get the home run.
Berg with his 2 touchdowns now has 35 scores on the season. Second and 6 at the 40. Jordan Sims, the quarterback. Keeps it himself, rolling left, looking to pass. Lofts one up, but it is incomplete. Tried to find his receiver, Zach Paul.
Craig, you recall in the first half we said one of the keys for Iola Scandinavia defense was make sure they contained number 10 Sims. Number 73 did exactly that, Richard Jack. And number 19 came in, put pressure on him, Mike Beinley. So they've done exactly what they wanted to do, and that's to keep number 10 in the pocket.
And when he can make him throw off balance as well, he's not going to get as much zip on the ball.
His combination of being able to run and throw, you have to contain, and they've done really a very nice job of that.
3rd and 6, ball fumbled, still on the ground, and recovered. Nice job down there. It looks like Berg came up with it. Never really had it, though, looked like, as he tried to make forward progress. See him fumbling the ball around there, and lucky enough that he was able to spin over and recover his own fumble.
But Iola started the second half the way they wanted to, and that was to control Edgar, get the ball back, because they've been able to move the ball in him. And again, it could be a game of field position.
So the defense comes out and makes a statement to open up the second half.
Again, Sims is kicking away from Harris.
And that one down at the 28-yard line. So we'll take a timeout. It'll be Iola Scandinavia football when we come back and return with WIA football live on MSC after these messages from our statewide sponsors. (16-6), Edgar out in front of the Division V State Football Championship. Iola Scandinavia, their first chance on offense here in the 3rd quarter. And the pitch goes back to Kielblock. Turns the corner, still on his feet, and goes out of bounds near the 40. Looks like he picked up a first down.
That's the play they had tried to run earlier, where they fake up inside to Toomey, and then they toss the ball outside to Kielblock. You get a nice block on the outside. That's the first time he's really got any running room.
It's the first time we've seen him with that explosiveness since early on. He was went out with an injury late in the 2nd quarter, pushed out of bounds, and got wrapped up between the bench and the fence over on the sideline. But that's by that time Iola Scandinavia went to passing. This time forward ahead is Toomey.
Hey, we've been talking about coaching staffs and so on. Edgar's got a very veteran coaching staff. To give an example, Brent Engelwright, the defensive coordinator, has been coaching for 29 years. He's a graduate of University of Wyoming and served as a former head coach, so there's a lot of strength on the coaching staff at Edgar. On the other side of the ball, we have a gentleman by the name of Todd Snyder running the defense for Iola. So both teams put a lot of stock on having quality coaches in the program.
Helps these guys like the Keel Blocks of the world.
You also take a look at the Iola head coach, Scott Erickson. His mentor was a gentleman by the name of Steve Fleckenstein, who was a head coach for many, many years at Iola Scandinavia. Scott played for him, and actually that was the motivation for going into education, become a coach. So his pedigree as far as having a mentor and the coaching professor has been outstanding. Steve was an outstanding high school football coach.
3rd down and 4. Back to pass, and that one is dropped out there by Harris. Tried the quick pass from Rosenthal to Harris. This time it doesn't work. And what he needs is a catch and run here, but he doesn't come up with the football.
Basically, it's a two-person screen. The first person is out there one-on-one to block. The second guy gets a one-on-one trying to get open space, and they were very close to making it happen. Receiver probably got a little bit too close to the line of scrimmage on that play.
Michael Reynolds set to punt.
Again, we're in that battlefield position. As you're looking up here, you can see how spread out Sense and Berg are, and that puts a tremendous amount of pressure on your coverage team.
33-yard punt. Jordan Sins was back to receive and falls out of his hands, out of bounds at the 21-yard line. So that's where the quarterback stays in.
In that last possession, Craig, there's a pickup of about 16 yards of good field position for Iola Scandinavia. First time Edgar had the ball, they had it about the 35-yard line, and now they're back about 22-yard line. So that exchange was good for Iola Scandinavia.
It's all about field position, isn't it?
Particularly in a tight ball game where you got two really fine football teams playing against each other.
And a quick handoff, and jumping up there, Trevor Hinge. You saw him put his hands up, 74. He makes the play. Only about a 3-yard gain.
As we were talking about, in a good high school football game, and these are two really fine teams, you're going to have maybe 5 or 6 opportunities to take advantage of scoring. And field position is going to play a tremendous role in those opportunities.
2nd and 7 from the 24. Transfer in the backfield. Berg takes it though. Cuts upfield up to about the 27. So that's going to set up about a 3rd and 5.
After the game, Coach Erickson probably should go over and give a game ball to number 73, Richard Janik. He has done exactly what they're looking for in terms of containing the plays. He's been in the right spot every single time.
That was one of Jerry Sins's concerns, and we mentioned this early, how big those guys are up front. 220, 260, 280, and 240. Colligan, Hins, McCarville, and Janik. Inside handoff, initial hit. Berg stays on his feet. Out of the open field. Trying to break a tackle, and this time he's hauled down up near the 50-yard line, and a late flag comes in. Perhaps a face mask. Berg looked like he was done. Broke a tackle, though, and a huge gain.
They run the ball at Janik, and he stuffs the play, and Berg has the ability to bounce back, comes all the way back across the field. Again, you don't do those things without great athleticism.
Gain of 23. And they'll tack on the 15-yard penalty onto the end of the play. The face mask is the call.
So we were talking about opportunities. They actually had the play stops, and and number 20 makes a great play to take away that field position. Plus, they have the misfortune of having a penalty for face masking.
Turns out to be a 42-yard pickup for Edgar. 1st and 10 at the 35 of Iola Scandinavia. Sins turns around, keeps it himself, gets about 5.
Sins the ball carrier.
So Edgar on the move. We'll see if that last play sparks them. And Berg can be a spark. He's had a tremendous game already. 13 carries, 107 yards.
Another person that's played well for Iola Scandinavia as far as positioning is number 19, Beinling. Because on that particular play, he is outside contained. He's supposed to come from the outside in, and he did exactly that. He's made some key plays for them today.
Number 19 for Iowa Scandinavia. Second out at 5 from the 30. And off street. Plows ahead near first down. Looks like he's going to be about a yard or so short, so that brings up 3rd down and 1.
It's just a basic one-on-one blocking, straight ahead dive.
One yard to go for the first down. We'll see if the Thunderbird defense gets strong here. Handoff Berg, first down. Just enough as he dives over the top.
When they've run to their offensive left side, they've stayed in. When they've run inside of Janik, they've had some success. They've had no success running outside him, so I think they've decided if we're going to run at him, we're going to run inside of him.
There are Tyler Berg's numbers today. 14 rushes, 108 yards. Great average, 7.7. Touchdown rushing, and also 1 on special teams at a punt return.
In reality, Iola has done really a very good job of containing him, except for that one play where he actually was stopped for a loss. He ends up making it about a 40-yard run. So they've really done a pretty good job of containing him.
You saw the left tackle, 77, Clint Cronin, go off. Looked like he limped off for Edgar. 1st and 10 at the 24. Sins turns around, takes it himself. Here comes a flag.
Normally when you see that, that's holding on the offensive line.
And that's not what Edgar wanted to see at this point, but that's going to be the call. That'll push him back. Let's see if we can pick it up.
I think they called holding on the center. Looked like he had his hand outside the blocking zone.
So Sins now faced with a long first down here now. First and about almost 20. From the 33. Edgar's been on the move. About 5:02 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Berg down to the 30. Gain of about 3. The thing is, when it's 1st and long, you don't need it all on one play.
55 has been a good anchor for Iola Scandinavia on the inside. Ryan Schreiner, I believe it is. He's done a nice job of anchoring on the inside. They've tried to run that little counter play a couple times, and they've got nothing out of it.
So 2nd down now and 16 from the 30.
Previous situations like this, offensively, they've rolled out to the left with Sins trying to make a play. To see what happens in this one.
Berg takes the pitch. Crosses down to about the 24. 6 more. So they're chipping away after the big penalty on 1st down that set up 1st down and 20. And now they're about 3rd and 9 from the 24.
That's a good indicator of Berg's quickness, because in reality there wasn't much there, but his quickness was able to spurt through a little bit of a hole. Someone with lesser speed, that's for negative yardage.
Third and 10, Sins. Could have taken himself up the middle, but he's only going to get about 3 yards or so. And that's going to set up 4th and long from about the 22-yard line.
Okay, that was a design play. That's a quarterback draw. They wanted everything showing one direction one way, and the quarterback steps back, hoping that there's going to be over pursue on defense, and he steps up inside. Again, it's a compliment to both of these teams defensively. They're well schooled. They play good position defense.
4th down and 8 from the 22. Edgar trying to come up with 8 big yards here on this play. Sins fakes one way, throws another, wide open to Paul. 1st down to the 10-yard line inside, so that sets up 1st and goal. Zach Paul at a big catch.
We reflect back, that's the same play that they used when they scored their 2-point conversion. Same identical play. Quarterback fakes the pitch, and releases outside, comes across the middle. That was for their 2-point conversion earlier. It worked before. Obviously, the offensive coordinator, remember, comes back to it.
Work it till you can't, right?
Keep working until they take it away from you.
Inside handoff, Berg still on his feet, down to about the 2, gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and goal from there.
Hey, that's what's so deceptive about Berg. He doesn't look that big, doesn't look like he's got a great deal of strength, but he hammers up in there and he just keeps sliding on. He sees a little bit of space and ends up being positive yardage. Again, there was fairly good push at the point of attack, but a lot of that yardage was made because of his great running.
Well, this could be a make-a-statement drive for Edgar. Already up by 10 with under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Berg stays on his feet. Touchdown! Tyler Berg giving Edgar a big advantage now late in the 3rd quarter.
Craig, there was penetration that time, I believe, by number 59, Jim McCarville. Into the backfield, Berg is able to bounce outside and score. Again, he's got the ability to bounce outside because there was not a lot of room to run. He just found a hole. That play was designed to go up inside. He bounces off the tackle. That's just good running.
And a little bit of punishment along the way as Berg gets up and kind of holding his side. But he's going to stay in this one as Edgar goes for another 2-point conversion. They've hit their first 2 of the game so far. Sins back to pass. Lobs it into the end zone. This one will be incomplete, though. The pressure was up there by Iowa Scandinavia. And so that leaves our score at Edgar 22, Iowa Scandinavia 6. Timeout. We're coming back to Madison when we return with more WIA Football Live on MSC after these messages from our statewide sponsors.
This really is the first rural free traveling library in the nation. They started out with 500 books in the 16 stations. They leave Menominee on a horse-drawn cart and distributed about every 6 months or so. The libraries were located in post offices and stores. And in one case, a milkman carried the library with him in the milk truck. The books case would include items on cooking, homemaking, farming, but they said in the first 1,400 withdrawals, they'd never lost a book. Everybody brought them back. It's certainly the traveling free library that was established here and in other areas too. It eventually evolved in what we now know as bookmobiles.
And we are back at the Division V state championship game. Edgar leading Iowa Scandinavia 22-6. Tyler Berg scores another touchdown. 1:50 to go in the 3rd quarter. And question is, was that a statement drive touchdown and maybe a clincher for Edgar? Iowa Scandinavia has been back on their heels thanks to the Edgar defense.
I have to be honest with you, that one I have to give to Tyler Berg because there were situations where there was nothing. One was about a 40-yard run he made. Second time on the touchdown, there's nothing really there, and he just makes it happen. So I'm going to give Mr. Berg a lot of credit for that particular drive.
And Berg's numbers as we watch him score his second rushing touchdown. 18 carries, 127 yards on the afternoon.
He just has the ability to find that little crease.
And Scott Erickson was asked, how do you stop this guy? And he said his only answer, by committee. But so far, you know, as much as the efforts are there, this is a tough guy to stop, especially when you look at the average. 7 yards a carry coming into this one. But that average is right about where it normally is. Back to pass, Kielblock takes it. Rumbles up to about the 40. About a 5-yard gain.
There are a couple of things about that play. One, it was well conceived. Quarterback did an excellent job of setting it up. The second part of that is the great coverage in terms of filling was number 12, Zach Paul. I keep coming back here. I'm extremely impressed by the quickness of the Edgar defense as a unit. As a unit.
Done very well. 2nd and 5 from the 40. Back to pass again. This one's going to be a little bit short by R.J. Rosenthal, and he felt the heat from the Edgar defense one more time.
Edgar showed 3 receivers to one side, and I was watching the Edgar defense. What they did is they basically went man-to-man on the outside and just loaded up on him.
Joe Murkowski.
They said, we're coming after you. They had another blitz coming on the defensive left side.
2 of 9 on 3rd down conversions so far today for the Thunderbirds. Big 3rd down play, 3rd and 5. Pass on the way, complete. There's the connection again. Mike Binley from Rosenthal. And they like throwing over the middle at midfield.
Rosenthal's got a strong arm, but what a great catch by Binley. What a great catch. Stretches out, protects the ball with his body. Great catch.
And if they are able to come back, we'll have to remember that play to be a spark of 3rd down and 5 coming through in the clutch. 1st and 10 at the 39 of Edgar. Pitch back, Kielblock. Look at him. Oh, get all stacked up there by that defense by Edgar. Leading the way is Greg Street making the initial contact. And Murkowski right there with him. Big loss.
Coach Engelwright's got to be really pleased with the effort that he's getting, because they're doing exactly what they've been schooled to do. That's contain Kielblock, make him stay inside, and they've been able to do that all day long.
Kielblock came into this game, ball 2,120 yards on the season. His number today, 14 carries, only 25 yards. He's been stymied by that Edgar defense.
They've not given him much room to run.
Back to pass, Rosenthal. Looking over the middle, this one incomplete, and a flag comes in. It looks like Berg was back there on defense.
It's either going to be, it could be offensive interference on that one.
And Edgar clapping their hands, and you might be right, Paul. It looks like that's what's going to be the call.
It looked like Berg had really good inside position on the receiver, and the only way the receiver could keep him from intercepting the ball was to give him a push.
Here's another look.
You'll see Berg has good inside position, and the receiver actually is working hard to keep him from intercepting the ball.
That's Michael Reynolds. This is not the way Ola Scandinavia wanted to go after the big pass play. Kielblock gets thrown back for a 7-yard loss. And now this penalty.
As you stated earlier, though, when Edgar had the ball in offense, they had the big penalty. You made the comment, don't try to get it all in one shot. And the same thing applies to a degree, I guess, for Iola Scandinavia. Again, they have to be careful they don't give up a big play. It could really seal the game for Edgar.
And the other part of the infraction there is a loss of down, so it's 3rd and 32. Inside handoff. Harris looking for some running room, trying to turn the corner, crosses midfield, but well short of the 1st down. As he's tackled around the 47-yard line.
There's a little shovel pass up inside. Quarterback drops back. Receiver comes from the outside and just tossing the ball underneath, hoping that the defender's all going to drop back. Again, the quickness of Edgar is able to make a recovery. Number 9 shows some good quickness so for Iola Scandinavia, and I would suspect they're going to try to get the football to him a few times in the fourth quarter.
That's John Harris. And that brings to a close the third quarter here at Camp Randall Stadium in the Division V WIA Football Championship. Edgar leads 22-6.
Health and health care issues affect everyone. In our ongoing look at these important topics, this week we focus on youth. Whether it's early childhood brain development, teen violence, or insurance coverage for everyone, the questions are personal and hit home. Don't miss a 1-hour weekend We the People special, Growing Up, Growing Older, Friday night at 7 on Wisconsin Public Television. Your place to grow through learning. This is Wisconsin Public Television.
Brett Kashan and Paul Ingen back at the Division V WIA State High School Football Championship game where Edgar leads Iola Scandinavia 22-6, and we're about to start the fourth quarter and do it with an Iola Scandinavia punt. Berg calls for a fair catch at the 22-yard line with his club up by a 22-6 score. Try to take the safe route there and perhaps mount one more drive. That was a 25-yard punt.
Even though Iola Scandinavia did not pick up the first down on that previous play, they did pick up 12 yards, and they were able to gain some field position. Now, obviously, the key is they've got to hold Edgar from gaining any kind of field position or containing the ball for any length of time.
Pretty good numbers for Berg. 3 total touchdowns. Jordan Sin still in at quarterback. Spins around, takes it himself.
Again, that's a design play. They fake Berg flying straight ahead. Quarterback reverses out, looks like he's going to hand it to him, just follows him up in the hole, hoping that everything is going to collapse on Berg. That's a design play. And again, Sens has really very good speed, so there's a possibility if somebody's out of position, he could make a long run. And again, I'm going to give credit to Todd Snyder, the defensive coordinator for Iola, for doing a nice job of setting his defense to stop Edgar, because they've really done a lot of good things. Berg's just made some great runs.
2nd down and 6. About 2 yards short on the carry there by Street.
That's an interesting combination with Street. He plays fullback on offense. They put him at defensive tackle when he's on the defensive side of the ball. That's an interesting combination.
It's kind of a big guy playing a big guy's position on both sides. 3rd and 2 from the 30. And off to Tyler. And it looks like he's going to be about a yard short. So Iola Scandinavia's defense looks like they came through.
I think I was watching number 73, the defensive right end for Iola, Janik. And again, he has been really well schooled as to what his responsibilities are, because he has not given in to the temptation of slamming down inside to try to make a play. He's held his ground. As a result, he's containing the play and doing exactly what he's been coached to do.
By Sins to Harris, takes it at the 35. He's got a little running room, and it's brought down about the 46-yard line after the 35-yard punt. We will return with more WIA football live on MSC after these messages from our statewide sponsors. back at the Division V state championship game where Edgar leads Iola Scandinavia. 9:43 to go in the fourth quarter. The Wildcats last won a state high school football championship in Division V in 1992, also in 1979, trying to make it a third time here in '99. This is Edgar's 5th trip overall. And they've done a pretty nice job of stopping this guy, Kuhlblock of Iola Scandinavia, but a pretty nice gain there.
Actually, that's about as much room as Kuhlblock has gotten to run all afternoon. The offensive line and the split end did a real nice job of sealing off the defenders from Edgar.
There's the total offense, Iola Scandinavia, 230 to 162, but you check out the scoreboard and it's just the opposite. Special teams touchdown certainly helped Edgar's cause, but Edgar is really not broken on any major plays on defense yet this game.
Craig, Travis Strasser just made a play that I believe prevented a touchdown. If he's not able to shed the blocker, I think Harris would have scored on that play, or at least he would have picked up a lot of positive yardage.
And Edgar's defense, Paul, of course, with the 3 sophomores in there, has really held up well.
I know that Coach Sins was concerned about the size, and when I saw all those sophomores play, I'm thinking, you know, it's going to be interesting. Well, they've done an outstanding job of standing in there. Again, I keep coming back to this, and we were talking during the break. These are 2 very well-coached football teams. They do really a lot of good things. Special teams has played a tremendous role in terms of the touchdown, field position. We talked about Harris touching the ball for the first time, where he actually was able to return. He returned it about 12 yards.
And Toomey on that last carry gives them a first down at 10. Back to pass, and it's complete. And another first down inside the 30. And this one down to Michael Reynolds from Rosenthal.
That was, again, they've had some really outstanding catches by the receivers today. Same type of pattern coming across the middle. Rosenthal is very comfortable just dropping back and hitting that man coming across. That was an excellent catch.
Actually, that last catch by Sean Jerish, my mistake.
He and number 19 look a little bit alike. They're both about the same height.
This goes to show that Rosenthal can spread that ball out. Now you look at some of these receivers. Jerish really only his 5th catch of the year, but he's caught a touchdown pass earlier. Bidley had 9 catches coming in. Reynolds had 9 coming in. He's used his backs as well. Back to pass again. This time he goes for it all and just a little bit overthrown. Looking for Bindley. He's been one of his favorite targets. There's no doubt about that in this game.
It was a nice play-action pass by Rosenthal. He's handled the ball very well. He puts the ball on the line. He's got a very accurate live arm. As we're looking at this game out there are a number of athletes on both teams that are going to be playing some football beyond high school. I don't know what the level is going to be, but they are going to be able to play beyond high school. I'm sure there's some coaches here thinking, I'd like to talk to that one, and that one.
I would think at the very least a lot of these state Division III coaches are in the stands for this tournament for 2 days.
Yes, they are. And also your private schools.
Almost intercepted by Zach Paul. And you know, he is thinking, get into that end zone that's painted red, Wisconsin.
The way that Edgar's got their defense set, number 12 is supposed to be sitting on the flats, and that's exactly where he is. And it's almost showtime for number 12. Strasser.
Ball just a little bit overthrown, but could have been a lot worse. 3rd and 10 though for Iola Scandinavia. 7:40 to go. They need to punch it in. Heavy rush. There's the pitch forward. This time Harris takes it down, getting maybe about 8 yards to the 21. Need to get to the 19 for the first down, so it's going to be 4th and 2.
That's the play they had run previously, and they tried to get everybody dropping back and sending it underneath. And he's got good quickness. Harris has got good quickness. I have a feeling they're going to try to get the ball to him a few more times. And the Thunderbirds will call a timeout here.
And we'll also take a break with 7:08 to go here in the fourth quarter. We return with more WIA Football Live at MSC after these messages from our statewide sponsors. Big 4th and 2 play for Iola Scandinavia, and it looks like Edgar's defense comes up one more time, stopping them a yard short in their efforts. And now Edgar takes over on downs, leading 22-6 with only 7:04 to go. And we will take a timeout along with them and return with more WIA Football Live at MSC after these statewide sponsor messages.
In White Lake, this was all woods, timber, no open fields or anything here. Yawkey Bissell Lumber Company, my great-grandpa Bissell was one of them. They bought some timber 20 miles deep and maybe 10 miles east and west. They got the mill running early part of 1917. They ran it for 30 years, day and night. When the old company ran out of timber, my dad and 2 partners decided they were going to get into flooring in a big way, big time, basketball floors. A lot of the NBA floors are out of White Lake. To me, when I'm watching a ball game, NBA, college, no matter what, my eyes are focused more on the floor than they are on the players. That's kind of crazy, right?
Back at Camp Randall Stadium, Edgar taking over on downs here in the fourth quarter with a big lead over Iola Scandinavia. 7:04 to go. And Edgar's defense one more time comes through. And Berg, speaking of defense, Iola Scandinavia all over him for about a 2-yard loss. They need to come up with a play right now.
Right, Harris made the final tackle. It was strung out very, very well by the entire defensive unit. Again, I've said it repeatedly, and I'm going to keep saying it. Both of these teams are very well schooled as to what they wanted to do to stop the other team. Berg's just been able to make some outstanding runs, and some of them were done individually.
Both these clubs coming into the title game with perfect 13-0 records. Again, the handoff and gain of about 4. This time Street, the ball carrier. That sets up 3rd and 9 now from the 22.
That play looked like it was going nowhere, and he ends up picking up 4 yards. And Coach Since now obviously just wants to keep that clock running, take as much time off the clock as he possibly can.
See if the Thunderbird defense can rise to the occasion here and get the offense another chance. Inside handoff Berg. And he is stopped at about the 27, so that's going to force Edgar to punt. 4 yards shy of that first down.
You know, statistics say a lot, but sometimes they don't tell the total story, because statistically Iola will have, I think, a lead in a lot of categories, offense as far as pass and run. But Iola has been able to take advantages of the big opportunities. Or excuse me, Edgar has been able to take advantage of it to this particular point.
And a good return down to about the 39-yard line. Harris, 27-yard punt, good return. And we're going to come back to Madison with more WIA Football Live on MSC after these statewide sponsor messages. We're back at Camp Randall, Division 5 State Football Championship game. Edgar leading Iola Scandinavia 22-6. Along with Paul Ingen, I'm Craig Deshawn. And Iola Scandinavia, Paul, got to make a final run right here. 4:47 to go in this one, trailing 22-6.
Craig, they've had a number of opportunities the second half to do exactly what you're talking about.
And a great play on defense again. Edgar coming up with it. The corner, Travis Strasser.
Iola's had a number of opportunities where they've gotten excellent field position and they get it down there, but they just had not been able to get it into the end zone.